Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. While we still await anything major from Rockstar in terms of new announcements and or reveals for Grand Theft Auto 6, recently, Rockstar has been doing something a little bit secretive behind the scenes, and because the community is so intent on monitoring every little thing that's been going on with GTA 6 and surrounding Rockstar in the past little while, I say little while, it's been a long while actually, to be completely frank, the community has picked up on a few interesting things that could be indicative of something major coming up here very, very soon. Of course, in recent videos, we've covered this a bit, but it seems that August is going to be a huge month for GTA 6 in terms of announcements and reveals. We know that we have a new Rockstar earnings call coming up next week on August 7th. It's placed at an unusual time, super early on in the morning, which could mean something is happening the day of, or something big is going to be announced in and around that call. Time will tell, but something to keep an eye on. We've had multiple insiders, ranging from Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming to Nate the Hate 2, all going through and mentioning that August is likely when we're going to see even more announcements and reveals in terms of a new trailer. It could be full-on trailer 3, could be a gameplay trailer of some sorts, and then also more updates on Rockstar's website in regards to actual rundowns of gameplay elements and design, character, stories, and information there, new screenshots and artwork being revealed, all sorts of info drops basically. Probably some of the final ones leading up to launch. Like, we'll have whatever's next in this next batch of marketing, presumably in August, and then September, who knows how busy that'll be, but then we get into the launch cycle of things in October and November, and that's when we'll get closer to an actual gameplay trailer, like deep dive potentially, the launch trailer probably in early November. So this next batch of info will probably be obviously the first in a very long time outside of the pre-order info, but then also probably one of the final major pre-launch things that we have to look forward to. And like I said, recently the community has spotted that Rockstar likely is prepping for some interesting things to be updated. So Grand Theft Auto has gone through over the past few days and posted some very interesting findings. They essentially have a Rockstar monitor that they have built and created here, and this is able to catch anything that Rockstar might update or change on their site. So when the rockstargames.com webpage is updated with a new landing site, if a new URL is added to the code, if something is changed behind the scenes, they get notified of what is being changed. And that can be indicative of again, like I said, something potentially getting ready to get announced. They're going to update the web page. They could find a URL before it goes public or something like that, right? Now they post saying it might be nothing, but my Rockstar monitor has just detected a change to the GTA 6 website. This is the first one I've noticed since this time last month. It's possible that it's just a regular code deployment thing that they do at the end of each month, but it is worth keeping an eye on. I can't see any notable differences other than some CSS and some JS updates, but nothing visual from what I can tell. Nonetheless, they were doing something behind the scenes. Grand Theft Auto then follows that up with another post. As I initially expected, there were no visual changes or any text or content added to the website, so this wasn't, adding in some new photos of Leonida or some character artwork or anything like that quite yet. Instead, the main changes are behind the scenes and focus on some performance improvements, including preloading Rockstar's 5 custom web fonts, which are listed there. The remaining changes are mostly new CSS and JavaScript bundle hashes, which are typical of a fresh site build and don't appear to introduce any new content or features. I'll continue to monitor any further updates. Well, it just so happens there were some further updates that we'll get to here in just a moment, but nonetheless, they were changing some things behind the scenes, optimizing the site, which, surface value, this is us, bear in mind, looking way too deep into things because there's been such little information on it. Everyone is obviously focused on any little teeny tiny bit of news that we can get for GTA 6. And when things like this are happening, again, it just could be indicative of what's to come. But if they're optimizing performance, usually it's like, okay, they want their site to run smoother. But why right now? Is it because they're expecting a huge influx of traffic here in the very near future? That would be my first assumption. They're gearing up for potentially another huge wave of everyone's going to rockstargames.com and checking out a new trailer or some new screenshots and some new artwork and new descriptions of the game itself, perhaps here in the very near future. So Grand Theft Auto follows this up by saying after they initially went through and got their first notification that something had changed, they got a second one, and then they also ended up getting a third minor update notification. There has now been 3 minor updates to the website just today. This was back on the 29th. It certainly looks like something might be happening soon, if not later today. Obviously, that did not happen. Keep a close eye on Rockstar and the GTA 6 site tomorrow. No guarantees, but this is definitely unusual. Now, like they said back in the first tweet, sometimes at the end of the month, they do a code deployment update, which is nothing too crazy. But going through and adding in new performance updates, a secondary update, and then also a tertiary update here, 3 updates is not something they usually do. So when you might see one minor update to the site, it's like, okay, it is what it is. Maybe they're doing something, but also could just be like routine stuff. Twice is interesting. 3 times definitely is going to raise some flags here because it is unusual and it's not something they've done in the past. Now, of course, nothing ended up happening back on the 29th. Wanted to wait and see if anything was maybe going to come on Thursday, yesterday, since that's usually when Rockstar could post some big news. And again, nothing GTA 6 related. But when you factor in this new information here that they are making some secret changes to the website, presumably gearing up for something if there's multiple different minor updates that are not usually happening here, plus how they've now prepped their announcements and content rollout for the upcoming week, which we've already had targeted as a potential date for some major news to drop, it certainly seems like the stars are aligning ever so nicely. Grand Theft Auto also mentioned and noted this. Rockstar's new GTA Online Newswire post actually covers the next 2 weeks worth of bonuses. So they're doing like their whole summer high stuff. They just dropped that big blog the other day. It just so happens that it does go through and break down all the content until August 12th. So it covers what was happening this week and also what's going to be happening next week, which means they won't necessarily need to post another Newswire next Thursday. And what is next Thursday? The day before the major Rockstar and Take-Two earnings call, in which we know we're going to be getting some GTA 6 info, likely reports of the pre-order data, hopefully some stuff beyond that as well. But timing-wise, we know historically they've dropped trailers before earnings calls because that's something they note there in terms of views and attention that the game got. And then in this case, it'd probably boost pre-orders even further. Like I said, the timing of everything here, the Rockstar Games site is secretly being updated way more than usual. We have an earnings call that's happening at an unusual time that we know is going to include some info regarding GTA 6 to begin with, and now we have a Newswire post that's set up to cover multiple weeks, which usually is not the case, giving them the opportunity, giving them a window that would be peak for marketing, uninterrupted by anything else they might have to post about between GTA Online or even Red Dead Online. So maybe this is us painting the picture of what we want to see, but when you factor in all the little details here, I'm just saying, it seems awfully coincidental that things line up so heavily for next week, and the timing around all this would be indicative of something happening very soon. So August as a whole, gonna be a big month. We know that for sure, it seems. But next week in particular, around this earnings call on the 7th, could be a prime time for GTA 6 major announcements. So we're going to keep an eye out, obviously, as we get any new info that surfaces, any incredible leaks or rumors that surface as well. And of course, anything official, we'll be breaking all of it down right here. So if you don't want to miss anything going on with GTA 6, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button on your way out as well. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.